We are continuing to talk about, well, death. And how about life after death? We have with us a psychic medium who says she can talk to the other side.
Concetta Bertoldi is a New York Times best-selling author. Her fourth book, it's titled I Kissed a Ghost and I Liked It. It's out right now, and Concetta is joining us this morning. It's a pleasure to have you with us. Your fourth book, and they all are focusing on your line of work.
Yes, ma'am.
But did you really kiss a ghost?
I have twice.
And you really liked it?
Well, one time I did, one time I didn't. That's why I wrote the book, and it's called that because I had two, well, let's just say sexual encounters, if I can say
Is that normal?
Yeah, of course.
I don't know how normal it is, but it happened to me, so I wrote about it.
So how do you know it was really a ghost and not like your imagination? You were sleeping and maybe drank too much?
There's a very big difference, and obviously because it's my work, I know the difference. It was a spirit, and one time it was one spirit, and then there were many years later after that, there was another spirit that these two experiences happened.
Were these spirits that you had known?
No, they were not spirits I've known. No, but I communicate with all these spirits that I don't know and have never met on Earth. So it would stand to reason that I would have this encounter with somebody who I didn't know.
All right, Concetta, take us back, because you realized when you were much younger that you had a special talent, and it kind of runs in your family, right?
Yes, ma'am. My grandfather had the same ability, and when my mother was pregnant with myself, he had told her this child is going to also hear them.
And how old were you when you first realized you had the gift?
I don't remember, but my parents told me that it was very young and early on that they recognized there was something very different between myself and my siblings.
So what did you hear? What do you hear?
What do I hear? It's hard to explain, but the best way I can tell you is it's a very loud thought, and it's very separate from my own, and it's in my subconscious. So it's not my conscious mind that's really hearing this. It's my subconscious mind that's hearing this.
Was it frightening the first time you were really cognizant of this happening, or did you embrace it?
It was never frightening because, first of all, I was very fortunate. I was raised by family members who were very accepting of this ability and taught me early on how to protect myself, if you will, and also how to embrace it. So it never was frightening. It'd be like asking somebody who was born blind if they were frightened that they were born blind. If that's all you've ever known, then you would say no, because that's all I've ever known. That's all I've ever known. So I've never been afraid of it.
Concetta, do you hear any voices?
I do. I mean, are you around you?
Yes.
Yes, I absolutely do.
Okay.
Quite frankly, I don't know anything about either one of you except you're both adorable. But this is from my heart, I mean that. But right now, as I speak to you, I have a grandmother who's behind you. A grandmother who is very beloved and very dear to you and to your family. She wants, I think it's, if I'm not mistaken, because she's talking desperately about your father and telling me how much she loves your father, but she's also speaking about the whole family. There's a lot of names I hear. I don't know if they're dead or alive, but I hear a name. There's one that's either Lena, there's a Maria, there's an Anna. There's so many names that are being called out around you. And a Rose, also a Rose. But your grandmother who's here is so excited because she's with the grandfather that she adored. And one of your grandfathers died much younger than the other, by the way she's showing it to me. And they're saying something about recipes that have been taken and that they're all being used. Her recipes are all being used. And that you have so many things going on in your life right now, and you make it look like you're calm, but you've got so much on your plate and you're moving 9,000 miles an hour.
That's true.
But one thing for sure is that your grandmother said somebody's holding her rosary beads. So somebody has rosary beads that were very dear to her and that she's saying with all my love, and she's handing them over to you. Now, you're supposedly, from what she's telling me, you're traveling. And I don't know how you could do that because you're so busy here, but she's showing it in the forecast, which means that I believe you're going somewhere near California or LA, and that's in the future. And she's telling you, go, enjoy. She talks about your children. Your children are adorable. They're saying happy birthday. So I don't know whose birthday it is, but somebody's birthday is coming right up. And when I say come right up, it could be December, January, but that's where they show it when I say coming right up. You are in perfect health. You have a very long life. She's telling you that someday we'll be together again and how much she wants you to know how proud she is of you. She knew you when you were this big. You sat in her kitchen almost on a regular basis, and she was a food pusher. She used to push food on you constantly, and tells me that you would remember that.
All right.
What about Miss Laurie?
Well, on your side...
Are you crying?
I'm hanging in there.
I'm hoping that makes sense to you.
Yes.
I really do, because she's desperately trying to tell me these things to you, and there's so many people with her that are trying to tell you the same thing. They also tell me you look like your father. I don't know how true that is, but she seems to think you take after your father started the family.
Well, you know, I look more like my mom, but I do have a lot of things of my father. My father's eyes and his hands, his big hands.
Well, they're bragging about it.
Yeah.
She is, but there's other grandmothers with her, so I just want to mention that. You have a father figure who stands behind you. This father figure is showing me something you've been doing recently. He said you would know it was him if I told you this. You have been doing something with plaques or something to do with papers, and something that you either hung or that has his name all over it. And you've been doing it. You've been moving it around and putting things up that have to do with him. He's insanely proud of you, to the point where you were like daddy's little girl. You were the one that you could tell him anything. He could listen. You talked to him the way he wanted to be spoke to. So in other words, if there were things other people in the family wanted to tell him and they were afraid to approach him, they told you to go in and tell him, because you knew how to talk to him. He absolutely adored you. He's saying things about when you were a child. Now, I don't know where this is, because it's also where he lived. The houses were very close together. It looks like the places that he's trying to show me, your housing was very close together. But you were a very small little girl, and he says there was other kids all over, and you loved playing outside. And he saw in you from when you were small, your like integrity, your intelligence, your hunger, your passion. He saw this from when you were this big, and he was your biggest advocate and supporter. And he's saying also something about, seems to be in your family. Somebody's going for some minor surgery. I don't know what it is, but it's forecasted, and he's saying it's all going to work out. Everything's going to be all right. But somebody's worried about something. Put your mind at ease. It's all going to be okay. So this is somebody very close in the family, but it's all going to be all right. He talks about your children. I don't know what your children are, but he's telling me to say that he sees them as complete polar opposites. They're completely different in every way, and that he gets a kick out of them because both of them are passionate in their own separate division in terms of what they both like and want in life. But you are, they say, the best mother, like a crazy good mother, and he's extremely proud of that, because he's standing with his mother, and his mother is here, who is a very good mother, and she's telling me you're a lot more like her than you know, and the girls are fabulous. And one of them is passionate about animals. I don't know, one of them loves animals and has this thing for animals, saving them, protecting them, and they're showing me that they have a dog with them that tells me was very loved by your family, and your father said to tell you that they have the dog, yes. Oh. And the dog even has a name that I can't say it perfect, but it's like, sounds like two-syllable, Boopy, something like that. And they're saying the dog's name is with them, and to tell you, even animals go back to the other side, because they're life created by God.
Wow.
You okay?
Yeah.
I hope that makes sense to you.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so the book is out right now.
I Kissed a Ghost, and I liked it.
Yes.
and Concetta, you do readings in New Jersey. Where can people find you?
All over. Facebook, Instagram, website. Yeah.
And you have an appearance with the book? You're doing something?
I'm doing something.
October 29th, book signing at Barnes & Noble in Clifton, New Jersey, 7 p.m. And November 9th, live show. You have a live show.
November 9th.
Concetta Bertoldi talks to the other side, Fairfield, New Jersey at 11:45 a.m.
Thank you.
Yeah. You can go to her website or social media for more information.
Sorry.
That's good.
Concetta. ConcettaBertoldi.com. Okay.
All right.
Anyway.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Great to have you on.
As well.